right, Betting Weekly Tennis Live, the best gambling show in all the land, back again. Post US Open, the tennis grind continues. We've got women's action. The men get to put their feet up and watch football for a week. The women are hitting the ground running. 500 level event in Guadalajara, 250 event in Sao Paulo. Mitch, Michals, Dustin, Fox, all part of the Bet Rivers Network. Download the app. Make sure you get in on the action and follow the socials at Because We Win on the X account, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Dustin, Fox, welcome back to the show, man. How have you been handling it now that we can breathe a little bit post US Open?
Well, it's nice. We certainly can't breathe all the way because we do have some, as you said, some WTA action going on there in South America. But it's nice to kind of breathe a little bit because, my sleep schedule was all messed up because I'm staying up till like 1 o'clock in the morning watching these matches. And I'm like, man, this isn't the Australian Open. Why am I losing so much sleep? But no, it was a great weekend. I thought that the women's matches on Thursday were absolutely sensational. And then this weekend was just awesome. Even yesterday was a quick match with Alcaraz and center, fast for them. I'm sure we're going to break down quite a bit of that, but overall, I think a really awesome U.S. Open.
Yeah, you start to realize too that the real highlight days sometimes are semifinal days, even on the men's side, right? Like the Felix Sinner match ended up being the match of the day. Djokovic, gave it his best effort. Alcaraz was a stud all tournament, but Felix, I thought, played like the match of his life. And it was good for one set, but the way he was serving in set two, I thought was good. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, now we're into the groove of like, and I know there's no ATP events, but you got weekly tennis going on and shows you this tour, right? A 500 level event in Guadalajara is huge. I'm glad that they're able to still have that tournament, but a lot of points and a lot of, ranking points money. Also just the fact that you can play some good tennis post US Open. You're not, too far away from trying to look ahead to set yourself up for 2026 as well.
No question about that. What do we have for men's on tap? Where do we go next? Just Davis Cup?
Well, they got Davis Cup and Laver Cup coming up, and then we're getting ready for the Asian swing. I think, there'll be smaller tournaments just off the top of my head without memorizing the schedule. After we get to the big, Davis Cup coming up, it's not the finals, but it's like the semifinal round or whatever they call it, and then the Laver Cup. But yeah, then we'll be going to Asia, and there's some big events there that'll jumpstart the end of the year. You'll do Tokyo, followed by some Shanghai action, and then, there's smaller tournaments as well. But then it gets to Paris, and then before we know it, end of the year. So, it's going to be good. That's where, we had that match with Alcaraz and Sinner in the middle of the night that very few people on this side of the world saw, but it was probably the match of the year last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'm excited. What I really wanted to talk about too, and we'll get into the live lines first, and then we'll get to it. But the full slate in Guadalajara, we've got a lot of discussions, some picks and plays, and some graphics for everyone. Sao Paulo is a smaller event, and there's 3 matches going on right now, and the only real player of name right now is Ajla Tomljanovic. And before we started, I was looking at the scores. It was like 5-all in this set, or maybe 4-all. And Ajla playing Victoria Rodriguez, who admittedly I don't know too much about. Ajla was like minus 800 on the money line in a tight first set. She lost that first set, Dustin, and now is minus 165. So I'm just presenting the facts before you dive into what happened and, maybe some strategies going into this one.
Well, just looking back at that first set, Tomljanovic had 5 double faults. 5 double faults. Her first serve percentage wasn't terrible. But 5 double faults is just not going to get it done. She won 29% of her second serves. Now 20%. So I don't know. I think that you minus 160 now on the live.
Yes, minus 165 going into set 2, having lost the first set. Victoria Rodriguez, 30 years old, wasn't last event she played before this. She's from Mexico. She played in Monterrey. Lost to Sramkova pretty handily. Doesn't have a lot of tour level success to speak of this year, but Ajla also coming back from injury. And you have to bring up too, like starting out post US Open, is there going to be a lull? Do you have to kind of ramp up, make that push? So I don't know. It's like a pretty big number for someone that lost the set and, isn't exactly lighting the world on fire, which is where I'm, looking at.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, Rodriguez is no young chicken either. She's 30. And I don't know. I'd probably wait till after this first service game because Rodriguez is serving first and see what happens. If she holds and you still like Tomljanovic, you're probably going to get like minus 110.
Yeah.
Maybe even plus money.
I mean, we've been looking at the over games in these sets, right? Over 9.5 plus 128. I mean, because I could see a scenario, and having had eyes on this match before, Dustin, I could
Yeah.
see a scenario where it's long second set either way, and then either Rodriguez wins it in straights, or then the third is when Iowa just rolls. The more experienced player, the betting market reflects that. How many times have we seen, like, you have to win it in two? Two is where you put your best foot, you put all your eggs in that basket. And if Rodriguez doesn't win the set, then it's just a landslide in three.
Right. Well, the other player that I have heard of in this tournament that I've actually, I've heard of a couple other of these players. You know the women's players like better than anybody, by the way. Like the 200 to 400 ladies, these women like
It's
inside
tough.
and out, man.
200 200's a stretch. I don't know. I think I got up to like 150. After that, it's tough.
Well, maybe
Some of
I'm
the young
giving you
ones
too much
coming up.
credit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm giving you too much credit, but
Yeah.
buddy, you are the women's tennis aficionado, and Nigel and I were talking about that when we were at the U.S. Open. I'm like, dude, Mitch is great. Like, he knows tennis better than most people that I know, but he really knows the women's side, which is crazy because there's so many of these randos out here in the top like 200 that I'm like, who is that? And you're like, oh yeah, she just won blah blah blah. She's doing this. I'm like, all right, dude.
Can I tie it into what we've been seeing?
Please do.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
No problem. Let me glaze you up, as the kids say.
The depth of the women's game is just incredible right now, right? Like, if you talk about in the last like 15, 20 years, like just how good, even at the top, the middle section, like, first round matchups in majors, you're seeing some non-seeded matchups that you're like, whoa, this is high level quality stuff here. And it speaks to the volume of the game. So I do think, though, that, we get to Guadalajara, right? We have a player that's won this term before who we're going to talk about, Maria Sakkari, but 500 level events are where you're going to get the chance to, make your bones. And even at the 250s, you're seeing some quality tennis. So I'm pretty bullish on that statement that the women's game has gotten stronger and deeper in the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I remember this might have been like 4 months ago, and you were like super high on this Maya Joint girl, and I'm like, I've seen that name a couple of times, and all of a sudden she's just popping off, win after win, and becoming a top 100 player, all that good stuff. So fascinating. I do have a couple of leans later on today in Guadalajara. Not much going on for me in
no. It's
the first
those matches. Those matches will be a little later. 7 o'clock Eastern, I think, is when it tips off on the other side of the spectrum. Just quickly to mention Sao Paulo, obviously 250. You got Beatrice Head Maya as the top seed. Started to play a little better, so she'll come in a pretty overwhelming favorite. Sierra is the 2 seed. I was actually 4th, but the 3rd seed is Ajla, who won the 125 event there. First professional title at any level for Ajla, I believe, or any 125 and up level. So that was pretty big for her to get on the scoreboard. And look, she's one of the most popular players in the world already, Dustin, given the Filipino fans that have just been waiting to break into tennis. They finally have someone. So I'd like to see Ajla make a run here. I think it'd be good for the game. But Head Maya, playing on home soil is going to be tough to beat. So that's my quick minute on Sao Paulo.
Yeah, Head Maya will have an easier route than I'm guessing the route she had against Anisimova. The match that I was at on Monday night, we had amazing seats for her, and she could barely get a point. I mean, it was just, and she's a great player.
It's tough. I mean,
it is.
Zarazu is also in this event, so that's another player who had the big win over Madison Keys. So that's pretty good there. But yeah, Guadalajara, and we'll talk U.S. Open too. But if you want to get on the action, you want to download the Bet Rivers app if you don't have it already. You got all this action all across the grounds in Guadalajara. We're going to have an opportunity. And by the way, that comment I saw, I mean, Head Maya is, and shout out to our guy in the comments, plus 450 to win. I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth at least a sprinkle, given her resume in this field compared to others. So yeah, I mean, think there's tremendous value there.
My only thing is she 100% healthy? Because she was not 100% healthy going into the U.S. Open, yet she still made the round of 16, which is pretty impressive.
Yep.
And then she got the break speed offer. So plus 450 is not anything to
I wanted to also check this out too, because I had to research it. I know she's Brazilian. She actually is born and raised in Sao Paulo, so sleep in her own bed.
Really
situation.
A hometown girl.
Little sleep in your home bed situation, kind of nice. And you'll be more motivated. It's a smaller event. Some of the times higher seeded, higher ranked players aren't as motivated, but she's at home. She's not going to want to lay an egg on home soil. That said, though, Guadalajara, as we look at the action there, I mentioned one of the players. We can get into the match now, and we're going to have also, too, on this show. We're going to keep it up with the daily doubles, too, so something to think about, Dustin, as we mosey along. But Maria Sakkari won this tournament before, really kind of got her, what really was her biggest title was when this was, I think, at the 1,000 level, but we're at the 500 level, and she's got a match later today. Elsa Jacquemot, the French player who's been doing very well recently, but Sakkari enters a pretty solid favorite. There you see the numbers, -210, and straight sets betting is +108. It's been an interesting time, right, for Maria Sakkari, Dustin, because as we discuss her career, the ups and downs, some fatigue, some lack of success across the board in the majors, it's still a talented player that's still trying to find, sustained success. And she's probably hoping that going back to where she won is going to get her back in the right frame of mind. So do you see Sakkari this match, maybe even beyond, bouncing back here in Guadalajara?
I think that she can. This is probably a good matchup for her on the hard court. I think Jacquemot, to me, the French woman is, I think, better on clay. Is the hard court tournament, so that'll be interesting. I mean, Sakkari's last loss, by the way, was to Haddad Maya, and they were saying Haddad Maya at the tournament. So I don't really know how to pronounce it now because I was always Haddad Maya. Now they were saying Haddad Maya, so whatever. Either way, that was her last loss, and I was starting to think that she was turning the corner when she had those 2 wins. She beat Maria, she beat Bondar, and then of course ran into Haddad Maya as her last loss. And by the way, you and I talked about that one, I think, on the show, and we kind of felt like that was one where, she could get rolled, and she did, by the way.
Yeah, we did talk about that. She's 64th in the world right now. She got down to about 75, so she's still trying to climb up. 30 years old, which doesn't mean obviously the same as it has in generations past, but you got the sense that this is when she kind of has to get the comeback going. And I would just point to you this too. This part of the year, everyone, and I agree, like this part of the year, it's like, all right, US Open, some people on the outside lose, but not us, but some people on the outside might lose interest in tennis a little bit and say the season's too long, which it is. And like, this would be a nice time for a break. But this is the perfect time for players like Sakkari to get some ranking points, get some confidence, and try to just claw your way back out, because you're going to have to get in form by the time Australia comes. You're going to have to just start winning matches. Like it's great to have these moral victories at time, but the name of pro sports is the win, and she's got to start winning some matches.
No doubt. I mean, she strung a couple together here prior to the U.S. Open. Then, of course, at the U.S. Open, she won a couple of matches and just couldn't get out of the third round. So I don't know. My wife's Greek, so she's always a big fan of Sakkari. Every time she's on, we're watching her, and I'm like, man, unfortunately, your Greek folks are. I mean, because it was Tsitsipas there for a while, and Sakkari, and they both were, top 20 players, top 10 players, and not anymore.
I feel too. Is your wife 100%? We've never asked that. She 100%. Okay. Oh, yeah. Because I'm 50%, so okay. I get like half. I'm like, it's like a half care. I'm like, oh, but not fully care. No, I'm kidding. But no, look, I'm looking at the seeds too, and there's an opportunity. Mertens is the top seed, so at least Mertens has got her ranking to a nice place to be the top seed in this event. It's tough to make this commitment, obviously, right after the heels of a U.S. Open, but the opportunity is here. Do you like any action on this match, though? Is there anything that stands out? If we
on the Sakkari match?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a stay away. Okay. If anything, I think that I think it could be an over, because I think it could be a 3-setter.
3 sets, huh? Now I'm looking. Okay, so Elsa Jacquemot. Let's look at the other side of the coin. 22 years old.
She's played a lot of 3-setters recently.
Julio Fernandez. That's the match I was thinking of. U.S. Open. Layla. It took 3 sets from Layla to win that one. The last 2 sets, and she did play tennis in the land and won a couple matches there. So she's played a lot of tennis. I think it definitely was Roland Garros. That was the match that kind of introduced everyone. Funny enough, Dustin, it was Buisson in that matchup where she played Buisson in round 3, and that was like a barn burner. And who knows what would have happened if she would have won that match. So I think that's good. And just one last time looking at the graphic, if you think 3, that's the wrong one. We'll switch to this one. We'll get to that later. But if you think 3, I would think maybe 2-1 Sakkari is worth a little sprinkle. Sakkari in 3 plus 310.
I like that. And I
worth a
mean,
dash.
what at 310?
Yeah.
I mean, if she drops the first set, you're still sitting good. You're like, okay, it's like we're starting fresh now, straight sets. Let's go.
Plus 155 over 2 sets. My advice would be, if you're gonna go, I'd go over sets, not games. This has all the inclinations of
it could be a beatdown. You know,
or
either
it
way. By the way,
could be a boat race set where something
a
happens.
6-1.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But that other graphic I want to talk about, because it's one of my players that I came out of the U.S. Open. You give me credit for knowing all these players. I didn't know much about this player until the Open. I watched her play a couple matches, but I'm a big Sonmez fan from what I've seen. And I like her in this spot as a minus 155 favorite. I also like her as a dark horse in this tournament. And Tatjana Maria, who, great story, obviously winning the first Queen's Club grass tournament for women in a couple decades. And, has
she's the slicer, right?
She's the slicer. Yeah. She's a slicer. She has a kid. It's a great story. I just don't know on hard court, especially. It's going to be brought up a lot, Dustin, as we look at the odds on this match. But the altitude, this is not going to be for the faint of heart. Like, especially, somebody that's coming from U.S. Open, which was down. We like that it wasn't as humid, but I like Sonmez minus 155. I feel pretty good about that one.
And let's be honest. I mean, you've got Maria, who's 15 years older than the kid. Yeah. I don't know about you, but if I were playing against, I don't know, let's say
it's like Djokovic, Alcaraz,
my kid, or like somebody who was in high school or college, like, okay, this past weekend I was in Tennessee doing a football game, but I actually got to play tennis with one of their players, right? Who was first doubles last year. So he's like legit a professional tennis player. And it was like, dude, he could just run. I mean, insane. Point being, I'd go with the young legs and the young lungs in this one.
I agree. I definitely do. Didn't go well for Maria. She lost to Sakkari actually in the U.S. Open. So that was her coming off there. But Sonmez, it was the match of the U.S. Open that I was watching. Was Sakkari? Yeah, Sakkari match. That was 3 sets long, and Sakkari is like a bona fide top 30, top 25 player, and she was pushing her. So yeah, I think this is a player that could be out of Turkey, could be one to watch. 23.
You're talking about Sonmez's match against
Kostuk.
Yeah,
I thought that was good. I thought that was
they had a breaker. She won the breaker.
Yeah, 3 very physical match, very physical sets. So I could just see her making her move here. I think this could be a great opportunity for her. So that would be my lean in this one. But yeah, I mean, we look at anything else on this match before we kind of mosey along?
No, not in that match.
I was looking to it. Like, I think we got some good options here. Guadalajara futures we can discuss, because I mentioned the seeds. It's Mertens as the top seed. She's plus 375 on Bet Rivers right now. Elena Ostapenko. It's been a pretty quiet last couple weeks for Elena Ostapenko. Kidding, obviously. She's plus 400 next on the list. And if you're asking who would be the funniest person to wear the sombrero that they're going to give in the trophy ceremony, it's probably Elena Ostapenko. But she's plus 400. You got Kudermetova, Veronica at plus 450. Katerina Siniakova, doubles legend at this point, lost in the U.S. Open final 550. And you see some names there. So is anything on the future market stand out for you, a sprinkle? It keeps going down, but Guadalajara futures as the action gets going.
Guadalajara futures. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, I definitely like some matches here later today. I like Marino against Trevisan. I think
she hasn't played. Trevisan hasn't been on the court recently.
She is nowhere near in form right now. I like Marino there. And then I think that the Alicia Parks match is going to be a long match.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be a long match.
Parks is good in an underdog role, as sometimes when she's not the underdog, I don't know you trust her. You see Eva Jovic on that list is good. Quick glance, just looking at that board, I think Kudermetova 450 is probably the best value. She just seems like she wins. I don't want to say a lot of these matchups where we're looking for a clear-cut favor, she can just step right through that door and emerge. So that's just my initial thought at the board. But yeah, that's a good one. I think there's some good plays tonight. I like her. I think it's great she's back. I'm fading Sloane Stephens, another player that was working commentary, hasn't been playing, and she plays tomorrow. But I just don't. I don't know. That's a tough one to walk right back in and be like, all right, time to play.
No, and also
And also, yeah, not the best draw for her either. Looking at Sloane, who has to step right back on the court and take Stefani, excuse me, is minus 250. So there's opportunities as well. We're going to look in, just take a peek at the live line here, Betting Weekly Tennis Live, as we continue on. Mitch, Michals, Dustin, Fox here, all part of the Bet Rivers Network. A lot of good opportunities to get in on the action. Sao Paulo heats up, and it's still 2-1 Ajla. Ajla's plus money now. It's on serve. See, one from minus 165 to plus 123, 2-1 on serve in the second set. So funny how that shifts. This would actually be probably a point that I think I want to get on Ajla now. They're just on serve and she's plus money, but we'll see.
Plus money, man. I don't know. I think she comes back. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now there's value. This is like we waited for it. I think now there's value.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm actually jumping on it.
Jump right on it. We'll see. Thoughts on the U.S. Open? Start with the men's final. What do we think there? Alcaraz wins. He's got two Wimbledons, two RGs, two U.S. Opens, all at the age of 22.
I liked his game plan. I thought that this was like a matchup where you go back and you look at Wimbledon, you even look at Roland Garros. I mean, he never really got that aggressive until he had to in those matches. And I thought in this match against Sinner, like he just came out and was just pounding that forehand the first set. And, has a typical letdown in set two, like he typically does. Like every time. He almost had a letdown against Djokovic, and somehow he wins the breaker because he was down a break in the second set against Djokovic in semis. But I thought that this is the most impressed I've seen Alcaraz, honestly.
Yeah.
Watching him play for the last several years in all of these finals, what have you. Now that Sinner's become what I think is like a robot, Alcaraz is the only person on the planet, man, that can make the guy look human. And that's saying a lot.
True.
A lot. I've watched Sinner play now 3 times in person, and it's like it's unlike watching any other professional tennis player. It really is.
It's true. He was kind of serve botting, like he only got broke 3 times the whole tournament. That's like third fewest or second fewest since they started keeping track of that in like early 90, 91. So his serve is just incredible. What you said is true. It's also the defense. Like we can talk about a lot of different things, including what Sinner said after the match, and he was off, much like Alcaraz was off in the Wimbledon final. These guys are going to play matches, and it's going to be, I hate to break it to the general public, but it's going to be rare that we get a Roland Garros final where they're both playing really good. Like a lot of times, a top player makes you play not good. That's tennis, that's sports, that's life.
It's rare that 2 players are both peaking at the same time, and then you see those epic 5-set matches that go forever. Like
we just assumed, like people were like, "Oh, every time they play is gonna be great." It's like, no, not every Djokovic and Nadal match or Federer. Like they weren't all great. Like some were, but like you just wanted to play a bunch to give that opportunity. But it's the defense. Like that's what stands out. I mean, the serve obviously, and Alcaraz is playing smart, and he's figuring out that he can't just go for everything, which is just so mature of him at his age, but. Sinner finishes points on everybody else. Like literally every other tennis player in the world, he can hit right through and shorten points, but he can't do it with Alcaraz. And what does that do? As an athlete, when your strength's not working, it frustrates you. Yeah. And then you start taking chances and, going a little too big. And Alcaraz just wore him down. He owns the head-to-head rivalry. He's owned a lot of the recent matchups that they've had. It's going to be a constant thing after. I thought the comments after were interesting, right? He said, and this is where we can tie it into betting, right? Like, I have to adapt. I have to evolve to beat Alcaraz, even at the expense of maybe losing to other players. So that will be something to monitor going forward, is if Sinner tweaks his game and makes adjustments, sacrificing, which I think is a good piece of advice, but he's not going to maybe be as auto of a lock as he's been in some of these other tournaments, because it's like Tiger Woods overhauling his swing. He's got a bigger goal and prize in store.
Well, I've just been impressed the fact that this kid, who's everyone has been touting as like the prodigy, like the next LeBron James, like of tennis, right? The next Nadal, so much pressure on the young man, and he just continues to rise up, man. I don't know. I like how he's evolving his game too. All those things that he's changing. He's making Sinner, who I think is the best player in the world, not rating wise, look look normal and also make him basically go back and change his entire game because when he plays Alcaraz, he's going to have to play differently. And he even said, what did he say after the match? He's like, he may have to lose some matches here trying to work on some stuff.
And bad news in Sao Paulo. I got an Ajla medical timeout. Oh, medical timeout. We'll see. That's not good. That's not good. But hey, we'll see. You're right though about Jannik Sinner. I do think that. I mean, look, like he loses these matches. Alcaraz is just so mature and methodical with his approach, and he's a showman. He's perfect for tennis, but this rivalry is great because of how different they are in a lot of ways. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just watching. I'm actually watching.
I'm looking at this comment too. I mean, if you're looking at plus 100 for these two to thrash it out again and again in finals, could go shorter. I mean, that's a real thing with tennis, right now. Like 8 straight slams between the two of them, 4-4 across the board. So it's like, is this where we're going to be for men's tennis? My answer to Shane would be until somebody proves otherwise.
Well, like, here's the thing, man. We've got this weird situation for an all-time great to be like clear in a way the third best player in the world, talking about Novak Djokovic.
In big matches, like he's proven that in these Grand Slam tournaments, he can be the third best, and he has been
in the last three slams. I mean, he's gotten to the semis every time, and yet he falls short because he can't beat these guys. And so, like, he may have to retire because he's not going to play a full year of tennis. He's only going to play the slams, and by the time he gets to a final or a semifinal, if he gets there, he's going to be tired as all get out because he's 38 years old, and then he's going to lose. And then you're gonna be like, well, okay, but no one else can take that third spot because there's just nobody good enough right now.
Yeah, who could it be? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't heap the young guys like the Fonseca train like he needs years to develop. It was unfair to thrust him in that spotlight. Jack Draper, Ben Shelton, maybe, but like you have to be consistent at that point. Like you have to continually go. Shelton, it was brutal because he got injured. I still think it would have been Shelton versus Alcaraz in the quarters. Alcaraz most likely would have won, but that would have been a good spot for him. You know, Draper's been battling injury. Those would be the only two right now. And I have a lot of respect for Taylor Fritz, but he's another one that's been just kind of snake bitten. And, you know, it's tough. These guys are young too. I mean, it's maybe Felix though. I mean, Felix that was an eye-opening performance from him in the semis, how well he looked.
Played really well, especially after getting breadsticked in the first set.
He wasn't that far off. Yeah, he lost sets 3 and 4, but it wasn't like he got outclassed. You know, he was there. So, and still young, 25. Sinner's 24, Alcaraz 22, and Felix 25. And just Michael St. John, welcome to the show. We're both on Sakkari, I think. I think Dustin is. I think we like it over though, like a 3-setter.
I think it's gonna be a 3-setter.
Yeah. I would not take the straight sets bet. I just don't know that I trust that spot. But yeah, I think that's the way to go. On the women's side, I mean, Sabalenka wins again, 4 slam titles, just remarkable stuff. The match of the tournament was the Pegula semi, I think, because it was funny. Women's semi day was amazing. You had 2 really dramatic matches. Objectively speaking, in my opinion, Dustin, the first semi was much better overall tennis. The second one had drama and changes and, you know, different things. But how Pegula played, like, you can't do much more against Aryna Sabalenka. Like, I came away so impressed. Like, she literally left it all on the line.
She gave it everything she had. She played literally I think it was the best match I've ever seen her play. I mean, in terms of being consistent. I mean, I liked how she was down 2-4 in the first set, comes back and wins 6-4. Second set, whatever. You knew Sabalenka was going to win a set. And then even in the third set, she only lost 4 points on serve. It's like, how do you lose? In women's tennis, to only lose 4 points on serve the whole set?
What's worse? Lose when you have when you only lose 4 points, or lose a football game when you give up 7 yards of offense in the second half.
Dude, I've been in Northeast Ohio my whole life. He's talking about the Cleveland Browns, by the way.
Yeah, I am.
Who were absolutely horrendous yesterday. Well, actually, they played. No, I shouldn't say they were horrendous.
It was a disgusting loss.
It was a disgusting loss. The Browns have just shown in openers that they just know how to make you remember that you're a Browns fan.
It was brutal. But yeah, Pegula winning, you getting broke, and then just holding all of her serve points and still not being enough. Aryna's just such a warrior now. She served her way out of that match. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, she leaned on her serve, which was her weakness for so many years. and then beats Anisimova, who had that huge win over Osaka. Wasn't, following up, and that's what makes these great players so good, is that you have one match before that's a big win, and you still come back to the court 0-0 and bring it. And look, obviously, Iga Anisimova in Wimbledon was a disaster. It's a lot better than that, but there's still a process of winning a major, right? You have to know that you're going to have to win 7 matches in a row.
Yep.
That you have to, bounce back. And I think the world of Anisimova, like getting to another major final, but that was an experience win for Sabalenka, another money tiebreak where she just doesn't lose.
I just think that Anisimova is going to have to learn it's okay to play a 3, 4, 5 ball rally. And she gets so impatient and goes for winners every time. And that's where, and if she misses a winner, she'll miss the next 3 points almost every time.
I'll just say one thing to give her the benefit of the doubt. When you play Sabalenka, you might feel like you have to go big because it's Aryna Sabalenka.
She did it against Osaka.
Yeah. That was impressive.
I know Osaka goes big too, but Osaka didn't have to in that match. She was just kind of chilling.
Yeah. Impressive stuff, though. We're going to look at the Guadalajara matches as well. And we're gonna figure out a daily double here as well. But we got some thoughts on some matches later on and any players we like or dislike, which, by the way, didn't mention her name too. Big favorite tonight, but Eva Jovic, coming up too. She's -625 against Kawa. So if you're looking for any action on that, I'm just glancing at the board because I like to get in on Eva Jovic any way we can here. Straight sets win that's even -240. So maybe you go just under games played, -103 under 18.5, a quick, efficient win for the American team. Could be worth something there. That would be one that I like. That we got a comment too about her in the chat. Somebody that I'm a really big fan of. Did you get a chance to watch Janice Tjen at the U.S. Open?
Did not.
She beat Kudermetova actually. So I think she's somebody, and she does it with slices too. She's like a 15 years younger version of Tatjana Maria. But no, that was somebody that I enjoyed watching too. So I want to look at some of our other matches here today before we mosey along. But as we kind of keep tabs on everything.
Giving you a lot on today. Let's see what else do we have today in Guadalajara.
When that Arango, if you're looking for an underdog, can Arango make it with? Can she pull +210 upset over Magdalene
with her backwards hat?
With her backwards hat, exactly.
Yeah, she can. She can. I mean,
I would say, yeah, I like it. That'd be one to sprinkle on. I think
if her serve's like even halfway decent, she'll have a chance. I think.
I would say that would be one. I mean, you mentioned Marino, and then we mentioned tomorrow Sloan.
Marino, I like.
Huh. Okay.
I would go Marino. What is she, -180?
Yeah.
I would take her. I mean, this isn't like the best profitable daily double, right. But I do think this. Tell me what you think. I like Marino.
Mm-hmm.
And I like tomorrow. Favorite here, of course, Sonmez.
That's is that tonight? Is that match tonight?
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. The Sonmez match is tomorrow.
Sonmez match is tomorrow, yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay. So it'd be, what was the first one again?
The first one is Marino.
Okay. Marino, and all right, we'll calculate that because I like it. I think that's a solid play. Marino.
It's going to give you plus money on two players who I think both should win the match.
There was something I saw, by the way. I want to pull this up. Trevisan is not a hardcore player. And I like her, and she made the quarterfinals at Roland Garros years ago, I think. That was kind of when she got her ranking shot up. It's funny, like one slam can kind of just put you into the orbit. But yeah, if we look at this, as I do a quick one on the best site around tennis abstract, shout out to the guy.
I mean, Marino's coming off 3 qualifying wins at the U.S. Open.
3 qualifying wins?
I believe so.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I just don't. I look at it like I don't think Trevisan on clay or on hard court is great. So that's another reason to like that. But so we're gonna say, you're gonna say Marino, and yeah, that's somebody else too, -190. So that's where we're gonna put that one in. And then what was the other one? Sonmez is minus 155.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just a quick math here. And so that's our daily double officially. We're going to go for plus 151 on that one. Sonmez to win, Marino to win, just straightforward.
Put up your 100 to win 150.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. We don't want to get too greedy. We got to just reset. This is like the fourth quarter. Put your fours up and get ready for the tennis season to just keep going. But yeah, that's a good way to look at it too. I think that's a real opportunity for some players in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other thoughts here? Live window, anything else we want to get to? Look ahead, any storylines?
No, I'm in good shape.
That Tjen match, she plays in Sao Paulo, just to finish that thought, against Jeanjean, another French player. So I think there could be value in that if we look at that. I didn't see a line when I was browsing on the upcoming list, but we got some action on her. She was another one. It's like the U.S. Open just kind of got everybody going, about like some players. You win a first round match. It's like, all right, let's go. So maybe she's somebody to look at. Yeah, minus 286. A lot of money on her. So she's pretty big there. Spread 4.5. I think spread could be good. I think she could cover 5 games against the French lady. So that'd be one to consider. Yeah. Other final thoughts as we mosey along and we finish up here on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. U.S. Open in the rear view, but we're looking ahead to other great action. You like that Alicia Parks maybe to go 3? Was that the other one we said?
Yeah, or she wins. I mean, she's plus 105. I think she has a chance.
Plus 105. Yeah. If we get it to 3, that would be plus 138. So yeah, I think one of those would be good as well. And then yeah, it's already gearing up for we do the initial look ahead to majors. Australian Open futures are already out. Alcaraz and Sinner plus 140 each. Probably just grab both right now. No questions asked. Make some money on it. How about the the year that we had in the Grand Slam season for the women? The Americans doing well. Keys getting a title. A lot of Coco getting a title. Finalists are Anisimova and the other 2. It's a pretty good year for the American women.
No doubt. And let's see if it can continue, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think Coco will be taking a break. I hope Anisimova keeps it going. Keys gets back in the mix, but it's been fun. It's been a very, very fun time. So with that, I think it's time to wrap up. Dustin, always a pleasure, man. Remember daily double, Sonmez, Marino, parlay, put it on the money line each, and you can get plus 151. Follow that daily double pick. But this was a blast. We're out of Grand Slam season, but we got a couple months of just banger matches, and it should be fun. So can't wait to continue on here on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. But always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of fun. We'll see you next week.
Bet Rivers Network is where this is. 1 o'clock Eastern time. Betting Weekly Tennis Live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Download the app. Go to bettingweeklystudios.com for the newsletter and subscribe to all our amazing Because We Win social channels. So for Dustin Fox, I'm Mitch Michals. This was Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Enjoy the tennis, make some money, and we'll talk to you soon.